I don't really know what to say.
Monsieur Hastings, this theft may be a new and foreign concept to you. But to Detective Poirot, it is just another case waiting to be solved.
What do we do then?
We must get to work. If we can ascertain the thief's point of entry and exit, this may all be resolved momentarily.
Oh. Huh. Mm-hmm. Aha. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ah. Another success. I never doubted myself. What a revelation!
Gentlemen, I have called the police and they should arrive shortly. What can I do in the meantime?
Do you still hold the master key?
Of course. You are the only other person who has had access to it.
Très bien. Please keep it close. I believe the thief may be one of the guests here today.
The answer was staring me in the face.
Monsieur Hastings, I pose this question to you. If Mademoiselle Warbeck still has the master key...
Is she not a suspect herself?
Très bien.
Mademoiselle Warbeck is likely not our thief. The real thief did not care about the museum and what is hung on its walls.
At some time during this evening's festivities, the key was taken from her pocket and used in the restoration room door without her knowledge. If we find the pickpocket, we will uncover our painting thief. First, we must search the restoration room. Mesdames et messieurs, your attention please. I am Detective Hercule Poirot of the Belgian police force. I was charged with the safety of the penitent Magdalene painting on its voyage to London from Belgium. The missing painting has indeed cut the celebrations of the gala short, and so I consider my duty to be, as yet, incomplete. With your cooperation, I ask that you all remain within the building, and I intend to speak with you all individually.
If I was the thief, I would certainly be worried after a speech like that. I just wonder if... maybe I should let you do the questioning.
Monsieur Hastings, the painting's safe return also falls upon your shoulders.
I know, but I can make myself useful elsewhere, see what clues I can find.
One step closer to revealing the truth. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Madame Warbeck, a moment of your time, if you will.
I was rather busy, as you saw, especially with Irene and her disappearing act.
Disappearing act? An artist and a magician. She is a woman of many talents.
She was nowhere to be found. Is that better? She was supposed to help me organize everything. Then I saw her throwing her glass of champagne at Mrs. Allen's husband. I was hoping to speak with her after, but I didn't see her again until she was calling down from the balcony following Mr. Aylesworth's collapse. Mr. Christiansen, Betty Allen's husband. After the theft, on my way to telephone the police, he was looking for something in the West Wing.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now. Bonsoir, Mademoiselle Babagnan.
Please, detective. Surely we are past those formalities.
What you may consider a formality, I consider etiquette.
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting the other guests. I feel so fortunate just to be invited myself.
Modesty is the color of virtue. Now, mademoiselle, you were saying...
Oh, yes. We all gathered for that delightful photograph. Then I spent some time looking at all the wonderful art. I did notice the actress and the politician returned to the main hall together.
And the other guests?
I saw Bishop Mountjoy and the politician, oh, forgive me, I forget his name, leave towards the east wing together. It was much earlier in the night, well before that.
You have been as enchanting as always. Mademoiselle, if you have a moment, I wish to ask you some questions.
Look around you, detective. Out of the ordinary is the ordinary here.
Regarding the guests of the gala, you had the opportunity to speak with them all?
I met that delightful Farquhar girl, the art critic. With any luck, her article will finally give me the respect I deserve.
Your talk on the balcony went well, I presume.
Well, indeed. We weren't up there for long before the poor politician was struck down. What luck for there to be a doctor at the scene. And for us to have a detective here, too. Before I wasted a perfectly good glass of champagne on that man, you mean?
That is certainly one way to tell the story.
I'd hardly call him trying to push himself upon me as a story.
With his wife in the same room?
You think a man with that much arrogance cares? Women are nothing more than objects to him. One day he'll learn his lesson.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now. Bonsoir, mademoiselle.
It seems trouble follows you, detective.
So it would appear. And the faster I am able to ask my questions, the faster this trouble will be resolved.
I saw Betty leave the main hall and head for the West Wing after the whole champagne debacle. What do you think that was all about?
It is not my job to speculate on such private matters. It is to uncover the location of the missing painting and who is responsible.
If there is someone who can, it's you, detective.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now. Bonsoir, Monsieur Christiansen.
Detective, what a mess you have on your hands.
That is certainly one way to describe it. Perhaps you can begin to help me to clear up this mess.
I was with Betty most of the evening. She wasn't feeling herself. I'm glad I didn't leave and miss out on all of this. Don't tell me you don't get a little thrill when a new case appears.
I do not think about such thrills, Monsieur Christiansen. Only justice.
All business, no pleasure, I see. I remember seeing the priest.
The bishop?
Yes, him. He came down the stairs just before Mr. Aylesworth recovered. Maybe a man of the church was all he needed. Are you married, Detective Poirot?
I am not.
Then heed my warning. If your wife, whenever she comes along, wants to be left alone. Oh, you saw that.
I believe every soul in the museum did, or at least heard the commotion.
So I look like the bad guy, hmm? That's what you get for standing up to a bully, I suppose.
A bully?
She made some pretty awful comments about Betty and her career. And I wasn't just going to stand by and let her say whatever she wanted. You should lock her up for what she did to me. She's unhinged.
Merci, monsieur. Bonsoir, Your Excellency.
I should be addressed as Your Grace.
Pardon. I did not mean to offend, Your Grace. It's just that in Belgium...
It is quite all right. None of us can choose where we're born. Now, what can I do for you? If I must, I was talking with Mr. Aylesworth for a time. Some strange opinions, that one.
Would you care to elaborate?
You were not present for that conversation, and I hardly think it appropriate to involve you now. Although, I will say he was rather keen to see the orrery from the balcony. He left, and I spoke briefly to that actress, but she wandered off looking for her husband. Up the main stairs, I think it was. Who would have thought the reveal of the missing painting would cause a man to take such a turn?
Perhaps a warning to us all that such a scare could come at any time.
Are you trying to say that is what's going to happen to me?
Your Grace has misinterpreted my meaning. But on the matter of where you were at the time...
Then maybe you should think before you speak. And I was talking with a young Russian girl.
Merci, Your Grace.
I thought I would make myself useful, and I think I found some things of note.
Bon, I shall go and retrieve them now. You were wise to not touch them and contaminate any evidence.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I did only move them to the West Wing.
Fantastique. One step closer to revealing the truth. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. Hot on the culprit's heels. Another success. I never doubted myself. Huh. Ah.
Oh. Huh. Huh.
If it'll help retrieve the painting. Of course. I have the key.
Mademoiselle, the key?
I'm sorry. You said it yourself. I think I should just hold on to it.
I was not expecting Mademoiselle Warbeck's hesitation.
Mademoiselle Warbeck, I really must insist on access to the restoration room. I find your reluctance to oblige a little troubling, mademoiselle.
Now listen. I am the curator of this museum, and I...
Miss Warbeck, will you let the man in? I, for one, would like to get to the bottom of this tonight.
Please, Evelyn. Let's not drag this on all night.
Evelyn Warbeck?
That's me?
Detective Inspector Hardwick. I was told a painting's been half-inched.
Yes, it's...
Stolen. Detective Hercule Poirot of the Belgian police, seconded by the Musée Royal des Beaux-Arts de Belgique and Lloyd's of London, to escort the penitent Magdalene here. How do you do, Detective Inspector Hardwick?
Well, thank you for that introduction, Mr. Poirot, but we won't be needing your help this evening.
But you see, not only do I have a considerable personal stake in this matter, I also possess undoubtedly the finest investigatory mind in all of Belgium.
I'm sure Belgium thinks you're the bee's knees, but we'll be just fine and dandy.
I must insist, Inspector.
Bloody hell, I don't have time for this. Will someone try and get through to this man before he does my head in?
Dear Mr. Poirot, I know you meant well, but perhaps now is not the time to push the inspector's buttons.
Très bien.